welcome to the Ruthlovestoknit podcast. I'm Ruth and I love to knit. It is February the 2nd, 2023 and it is lovely to be here. I'm back. Well, sort of. I haven't podcast for quite some time. I think it was nearly the last day of November. There's a lot has gone on, a lot has happened. And this won't be a normal podcast, but I just thought I need to jump on. Take me as you find me, and I hope we'll just spend a wee bit of chatty time together. Get your crafting, get a cup of tea, whatever, and just settle down for a good old knit and natter, really. If this is your first time here, this will not be a normal podcast. Maybe go and see some of the other ones. I'm not even sure if my iPad's up straight, but do you know what? We're going to do it. So as I say, if you haven't been here before, I'm Ruth. I live in the southwest of England, in Devon, with my husband and two children. Samuel is 13 and Eva is 14. And it's been a couple of months of roller coaster. So I'm just going to talk about it. If you don't want to listen to this, I completely understand. There will be knitting, I promise. But I just felt that so many of you have sent the most amazing messages and comments and all the rest of it that I just wanted to bring you up to speed. Although I'm not full of speed. I feel very close to the camera because there's stuff behind this chair that I can't get down to move. And I thought, not another excuse not to podcast, so I'm just jumping on. As I say, take me as you find me, and apologise, it's a very, very dull day here in Devon, and I've got the overhead light, which of course shines off the old grey hair, which needs cut, but we'll not say anything about that either. And I'm just so glad to be here, to spend a bit of time with you all, and I hope it just fills an hour for you in the day. Again, thank you to those who have sent me messages, a few gifts, cards. Oh my goodness, it has just, I get a bit emotional. It's just been unbelievable, this wee community. Really, I just can't thank you enough. And every wee message meant so much to me, it really did. So what has happened since I last saw you? Well, you know, I have banged on that I was going for surgery, and I was going for surgery, and I was going for surgery, and you're probably sick of hearing it. I'm sick of talking about it. But anyway, good old NHS kept me waiting for over a year, and then bing bang bong, it all happened. So I got a phone call on, I think it was the Friday. Could I go in on the following Thursday? And you had to go COVID test, blah, 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 all the rest of it. And I had to have blood tests done and blah, 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 blah. And yes, so I got my surgery. So that's why I haven't been here. It was more extensive than he expected. 29 staples later. Sorry if that's too much information. So alas, I had abdominal surgery, in case you haven't heard me banging on about it. I have two lovely big scars to add to the other scars. So I have very sad news that my bikini modelling desire is now no longer. I think I have to just put, sorry if you've just spat out your tea, I just have to put that ambition to the wall and move on. Yes, I am very, very glad to have it done. I saw my consultant yesterday. There is one wee area he's a bit concerned about, so I'll have to go and see him again in 3 months. I have to wear a very tight binder. Ladies, sorry gents, if any gents are listening to this. Who made these things? I do not know how Kim Kardashian wears one. Well, she's slim. If you're over about a size 8, they're not made for you. It is not pleasant. I would like to remodel them, but however, I have to wear one of those, and I thought I'd be able to stop yesterday because it was 6 weeks, and I have to keep it on for another 3 months. So, thankfully you cannot see anything from the chest down, so you won't be traumatised. But however, we're on the up, a very minimal pain, which is, can't be thankful enough for that. The nausea is gone, yay! And yes, I'm just super thankful, and I hope it's all going in the right direction. I'm behaving myself. I'm not allowed to lift and all the rest of it. I'm trying to behave myself so that it's not my fault if something doesn't work. So there you are, wee quick or not so quick recap. But sadly, I had my operation on the 22nd of December. Sadly, my mother-in-law fell a few days before. She's in Kilkenny in the south of Ireland. A few days before my operation, and I was, should I do it, should I not? And my husband was like, you've waited over a year for this, Ruth, you have to do it. And very, very sadly, she passed away on Boxing Day, and she had a long life, but it's still very sad. So in the middle of all of this, hardly being able to get out of bed, my husband obviously had to go home to Ireland. So that wasn't what we expected. I very selfishly wanted him to stay here, but obviously that was not going to happen. So my lovely mum and dad came to the rescue. My 80-year-old, sorry mum and dad, in their 80s came to the rescue and came over very short notice to stay with me and the kids. And my lovely dad sorted out the dog, the chickens, the quail, the fish. These things are a good idea when you've got no emergency issues, and he sorted those out for us. And my kids have been absolutely fantastic, and mum and dad stayed for had to obviously go home. They do have lives, although they're retired. They're the busiest people that I know. So Nigel came back for a few days to sort things out here, and then he's gone back, and he's been away for just over 3 weeks, but he's coming back on Saturday. So it has not been the relaxed recovery I expected, but I told him yesterday, once he gets back, I'm doing nothing for 6 weeks. That's never going to happen. I have to take my hat off to my two kids. They're only 13 and 14, and they have just above and beyond. They really have. I can't they have been cooking, cleaning, doing the ironing, all of the things that mummy would normally do. And Eva said to me the other day, being a mum is really no fun. So I think they're getting their eyes opened to what goes on. So anyway, I'm very thankful for them. I'm very thankful for you, and let's stop talking about all that now. So Nigel's been home for a prolonged period of time because his mum was his dad's carer. So he's had to get a lot of things in place, and the south of Ireland is very different to the UK, so that's been a steep learning curve and very stressful, as you can imagine. But we're so thankful we have our faith, and that we can turn to the Lord for help and leave things in his hands. And yeah, we're just really, really thankful. And if you've never watched my podcast before, I was a midwife. I was a nurse first, but most of my career I was a midwife, and I worked overseas. If you know, I give all my ad revenue, talk about tangents, all my ad revenue to a hospital I worked at in Bangladesh, which I plan in my next proper podcast to tell you a wee bit more about. I've got lots of amazing things and stories for you to hear. And I worked there, and I worked in London, and I worked in Gloucester, and worked different places. But in 2014 we decided to come back into full-time Christian work, and that's why we're in Devon. Even though I'm from Northern Ireland, my husband's from the south of Ireland, and we work for a mission called the Faith Mission. So there you go. If you didn't know me before, you know me now. And we will talk about some knitting. Now, I have done a very dangerous thing. I have made very scrappy notes, and already you realise I have the gift of the gab. So just as things come into my head, I've been putting them on my phone, and that's maybe a dangerous thing, but I was thinking of 100 reasons not to podcast, not to come on. I needed my hair cut. I didn't have the setup. Things were behind my chair, and I just thought, right, they know me well enough now. Normally, obviously, I do the most professional quality podcast out there. But today's going to be even worse. But anyway, hopefully you're just ready for a good old chat. So quite often people say they'd love to come and knit and chat with me, and maybe this is your one-sided way to do that. What I'm wearing, this is the Nordbakken by, I have an itchy nose, of course, right at the start. This is the Nordbakken by Scheme Dear Knits. It's a wee bit big, and the only small part of me is my shoulders, and it's a wee, I think, every time I wear it, I keep saying I must pull it in a bit, and every time I put it back in my wardrobe. But I knit this, was it last year? Can't remember. With excuse me, Phenol PT2, I think. Don't know what the colorways are, sorry. Professional. And my wee buttons are from a lovely company up in Aberdeenshire that work with adults with special needs, and it's just tree branches, and they sell them. I would like to say that I'm going to put show notes, but bear with me. If any questions, just message me, because I'm so rusty at this and I just want to get it done and uploaded, and then we can get back to normal programming in the next one. So that's the Nordbakken by Skeen Deer Knits, and it was a lovely knit. It was steeked. That was it was my second steeked cardigan, and as I say, I keep meaning I just like to bring it up just a wee bit there, but hey ho, it's lovely and warm. The house is a bit chilly this morning, as like most people, when you're at home you can't keep the heating on, and yeah, it's it's a wee bit chilly. But anyway, I'm not going to recap 2022. I have thoroughly enjoyed all of the recaps of so many podcasts, but I'm not organised enough to do that at the minute. You've seen everything I've knit, apart from maybe a few pairs of socks that I've knit since, and I think one shawl, the Slip Crazy shawl, I've done 3, and I was finishing off the 3rd one, but it's done. You'll probably see me wearing it sometime, and there you go. I cast on, when I found out I was going from operation, you know, I packed my bag. No, I didn't. I came into my wee craft room, which is the spare room, which had to be cleared out for my mum to stay in. And people incidentally say to me, can we see your craft room? What you can see behind me, apart from a desk and those buckets, there's another one beside that. That's my craft room. Behind you is a single bed. It's a very, very small room, and that's my craft room. Enjoy your tour. Where was I even going with that? Oh yes, I came in and I skeined up about 19 or 16 skeins of yarn. Yes, I have a lot of yarn. And I put them with patterns, and I got the needles out, and I spent a whole lovely day doing that. And then when I got home from hospital, I didn't want to knit any of it. I didn't knit for a good, I'd say 9 or 10 days. I just couldn't. Every time I tried to do it, I just fallen asleep. As I was on painkillers and all the rest of it, and wasn't sleeping very well at night. I still have to sleep sitting up, so that's been a different experience. So I cast on, I've got the list here, cast on a Musselburgh, ripped it out. You would think that would be the most simple thing. I just didn't like my gauge that I got, and I didn't have the brain power to work that out. I cast on, now, what is it? Is it that song, it's me, I'm the problem, it's me. Sorry about the singing. Oh, who's sung that? Can't remember. You're all probably shouting at the screen. The half and half wrap. Again, you would think that would be a great project to do while you're sitting in bed or while you're recuperating. No, couldn't deal with it. Rip that out. Don't shoot me. Cast on a ranunculus. Rip that out. Cast on a love note. It's gone. Ripped it out. I think I don't know. I mean, the four patterns that are probably talked about the most on podcasts, and I just didn't like knitting them. I'm really sorry. Probably, absolutely, it's me. Absolutely, 100% it's me. Just wasn't in the frame of mind. Just wasn't, wasn't floating my boat at that time. And just to add to those things, if you've never been here before, I don't use fluff, mohair, surrey, alpaca, anything. It gives me, puts the hair in the back of my neck up. I know, please don't turn off, please don't unsubscribe. Every time I see a pattern it says, hold something with, surrey, alpaca, hold something with, it's like, move on, or I knit it in DK. And I don't like unspun yarn either. I'm sorry, don't throw things at me. Don't please don't unsubscribe. Everybody's different. Everybody's got their own niche. I love watching the podcasts for those who do use it, and I love what they knit and all the rest of it. But I've really gone deep into my soul for that, haven't I? Excuse me. Well, I'm not used to this. Excuse me. So, but let's face it, there's a bazillion other things that I can be knitting, and I can do. Doesn't have to be those things. And all I wanted to knit was vanilla socks. I've knit 12 pairs of vanilla socks. Now, some of them were shorties, some of them were I got a new pair of boots there in November. Well, new to me. And they're much higher than the backs of them are. Yeah, the backs of them are much higher than my boots last year. So my socks were all working their way down into them. And I only really wear socks with boots. As the first glimpse of sun, I have flip-flops on because all my years overseas in the heat. And so I thought there's no point knitting, or no point trying to wear those. So I've been knitting longer legged socks. So there was about 4 pairs of those, and then totally began to love DK socks. If you've never knit DK socks, gosh, I think I had them done in a day. They were just fantastic. And because I'm sitting around the house, obviously not putting the heat on, pulling a wee pair, I'm sure I look gorgeous. Pulling a pair of socks on and your slippers was just comfort, so since I've come out of hospital. Another thing I knit was which I didn't know I ever needed. I'm just thinking I haven't got them with me here. Can't bend too far to see things, so ooh, they're on my Instagram. And I never knew I needed them until I knit them. And they're the wrist warmers, Wintertide wrist warmers by the Candy Patch Design. She also does lovely project bags. And her name is Carrie Goss. And whenever you're sitting around, just having that extra wee warmth, I don't know why, that extra wee warmth around your wrist was just lovely. So I have another pair on the needles. And again, they were done in an afternoon nearly, because DK, just wrist warmers. I did them slightly shorter than the pattern said. So that's really good, talk about something I don't have with me. But anyway, they're on Instagram if you want to see them. And they're definitely a good thing. So let's actually show something, will we? So I did finish a couple of things. I finished my Slip Crazy shawl, Slip Stitch Crazy shawl by Chit Chat Knits. I have 3 of them now, and it was had paired up wool for another one, but I think 3's enough for now, isn't it? And again, those are on my Instagram if you want to see them. So what else did I finish? Now you would think, all of those things I mentioned, even the Ranunculus is an easy knit, the Love Note's an easy knit, half and half wrap couldn't be easier. Oh, Musselburgh hat, so easy. What did I do? Now this was chosen by, I want to say it out loud, Alexa, just turned on, for my one of my shawls for our Cal, the Across the Pond shawl Cal. I'm not looking at the camera, I do apologise, but I didn't get round to it, but I did in the time that I was recuperating. It is Mahusif, as I like my shawls Mahusif. All tucked up. Goes really well with this. I have worn it quite a bit already. Not that I've been too many places, but I wore it to church on Sunday, and I wore it to the hospital yesterday, and it is just so, just love it. Now this is cabling without a cable needle. You see, sorry, the light's really bad. But it was so repetitive, just so repetitive. That's lovely, my neck's a bit cold. It was just so repetitive that I was able to do it no problem. There was, this is the, no, it's not going to be, that's the pattern picture. And it's called the Euclid by Isabel Kramer. Now it's not one of her self ones, it's done for Quince & Co. And if you remember, who would remember this? My Magdalene kid. As I say, Alexa picked this for me, and I was a bit worried about the yarn. I got this yarn in, let me take it off the thing. I got this yarn in my local yarn shop, which is, if you haven't heard me talk about that as well, the Woolly Beater in Oakhampton, and it was in the bargain box, and it's Baby Alpaca DK by King Cole. Look at the price. £1 a ball. It was in the bargain, but I don't know what it was beforehand. I should scrape the label off. And the colourway is, it says ginger. Surely this isn't ginger. It's a lovely rose blush pink. It says 701 ginger. That's weird to me. Anyway, it's 100% baby alpaca, and it's 100 meters per 50 gram ball. And I was a bit worried it wouldn't be structured enough, you know, because of the it was bliss to work with. I think now I just blocked this over the rail of my cooker because I couldn't get down to the floor to block it. There was the single bed in the other room was free, but with no heating on most of the time, it was going to take forever to block. So I just put it over the rail of my cooker. So probably I could have blocked that out a bit more, you see that? But oh, I absolutely, really would recommend it. It's only a 1-stitch cable. So you just, you know, I just pinched it and did it, and it went so quickly. I would definitely knit another one. Maybe, oh, it's just lovely. Look. Now, I've done about an inch, you wouldn't even notice, an inch less of this rib because I didn't want to break into another ball. So this cost, how many balls? One, I don't know if this is still available, this wool baby alpaca DK by King Cole. Don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this cost me £8. I had 10 balls, and I didn't even finish the whole 8. I think it was about 8 and I think it was 20 grams left. But as I say, I didn't want to risk having to go into another ball when I could use it for another project. So not a bad wee £8 scarf, is it? So I'll show you it again. I just think it's beautiful. Now, I don't know with my grey hair if this is too light a colour for me, but I don't care. I'm going to wear it anyway. I really, really would encourage you, if you wanted to, just a lovely classic scarf, a classic shawl, to do that. And I'm really pleased with it. And isn't it funny what, you know, my brain literally couldn't remember, kept calling the kids the dog's name and the dog the kid's name, and yet I was able to knit this. Isn't it just funny? So this was just a really comforting, repetitive knit, and just when you set it down and picked it up, you knew where you were, you know. So anyway, I've got my even after 6 weeks, I've got my gripper. I'm sure some of you use these. So if anything falls on the floor, I hope I can lift it up, but I wouldn't 100% guarantee. So that's the first finished object I want to show you. And then the next one I just finished last night, actually. Oh no, this is the next one I just finished last night. And just a pair of socks. Don't think of any other finished objects, which is unlike me. Oh, let me just show you these first. I talked about all of the, excuse me, oh, I'm sitting on a Moroccan chair. It's great because it sort of pushes me forward without my effort. Started about all the socks in it. I'm not going to show you all of those, obviously, and I've already worn half of them anyway. But I did want to just show you one pair that so chuffed with, vanilla socks. But isn't it nice sometimes just to do a vanilla sock and let the yarn do the talking? And these are my beautiful socks. Now these were hand dyed for me by my other beautiful friend Hannah. You'll know Hannah from Hannah's Happy Space. I talk about her a lot, and she did these for my birthday. So my birthday was in March, so I did get them in the same year that I was given them, and it's just 100% 4-ply 75/25 merino nylon. And if you know me, you know yellow's my favorite color. Haven't worn them. I wanted to show them on the podcast, and somebody's hand dyeing something for you is just, oh, what a treat. So thank you very much, Hannah. I showed her the finished object, and I can get wearing these now in my boots. Oh, there's the leftover from that shawl. That's how much I had left over from the wee 50 gram ball. It It's so super soft. It's just lovely. And it's not, I wore it to church on Sunday and kept it on through the whole service. It's not super warm, but it's cozy. So that's that. And then the pair of socks I finished last night. I actually took part in a Zoom meeting last night with our home church in Northern Ireland in Strayed, just outside Ballyclare. And they had everybody who's been sent from the church. And I have to admit, below the desk, I was knitting, and these were my handbag socks. I keep handbag socks all the time. And there's a tail that's sewed in and not cut off. And these aren't blocked. And no, neither were those ones there. They're just for myself. I don't bother blocking them generally. And these are just another pair of vanilla socks. Just fun vanilla socks. And those are from Zandra Rhodes collection for West Yorkshire Spinners. And they're Sunset Bouquet and 75-25 nylon. I actually got four balls of her range like last year from Knitting Needle Lane. It's a company online. I think it's knittingneedlelane.com. And they often do free postage, and they had 50% off and free postage on these. So I couldn't turn it down. And I think I got about 4. And they're very me, just fun. And it's funny, for a long time I was doing the shadow wrap heel, and I was doing a rounded toe, as I told you many moons ago that I broke all my toes when I was a teenager. So my feet are not my greatest asset, and it was more comfortable. But I've really gone back to the wedge toe again, and I've gone back to the heel flap and gusset. Now for really proper striped socks, I probably would do the shadow wrap heel so as not to disturb the stripes, but I didn't find it was as strong. No, that's not the right word. I was wearing them away. Well, can't remember anything. And please shout at the screen. What's the word? Whenever sturdy. So I've kind of gone back to the heel flap and gusset, but I don't mind a heel flap and gusset. So they will go into my bag. I've got a nice little ball left that can go into something else. And that's in a wee bag that I was given last Christmas, I think. Christmas 2021 by lovely Esther from Sew Yarnlicious. She gave me that lovely wee gift. So that's the finished objects that I have at the moment. Let me look at my extensive notes. Yes, so I have been watching all of the podcasts, as you can imagine, and I said in my last podcast that I didn't really watch Vlogmas. I've watched all the Vlogmases as well, because I literally didn't leave the house for 5 weeks anyway, 4 or 5 weeks anyway. I had to jump back into mum taxi mode this week, which was quite uncomfortable, but has to be done. What can you do? And I had to tip my hat off to all you single mums out there who are doing it all, I tell you. But I've been watching them all, and I'm very impressed with everybody's plans and spreadsheets and all sorts of things that would suck the joy out of anything from me. I know everybody's different, and I totally admire people who can do that, and that keeps their head and that helps them. But this is my hobby. I don't want any stress. I don't want I can't keep to decisions I make about knitting. I'm okay in real life, but the decisions I make about knitting, I can't stick to them. So if I don't like knitting it, I just rip it out. I won't keep knitting, because I am definitely a process knitter. And so I take my hat off to all those who have done these amazing, absolutely amazing podcasts in technical detail. But I have decided this year that I am just going to knit what I want, when I want, where I want, with what I want. That covered everything. And I have started a hashtag. You know, I have my hashtag of it's my knitting, I'll cast on if I want to. And I have given you free rein to blame me if you have 1,000 cast ons. But I also have started a hashtag on Instagram, and it's you, the letter U. If I have the wherewithal, I will write these things on the screen, but I can't promise. So again, just message me and ask anything. But it's the letter U, feel free in 23. I had just feel free in 23, but some person who wants to change their life had used that one. So it's you, the letter U, feel free in 23, and people are already, just put that at the bottom of any posts that you put on with any knitting, and just you feel free in 23 to do whatever your heart desire within reason, and you knit what you want and you do what you want with no pressure. This is our hobby, this isn't our job, and if the love goes, what's the point in that? And if the joy goes, what is it, Marie Kondo used to say, if it doesn't spark joy. And I just think, you know, life's too short. Just if it doesn't spark joy, rip it out and do something else. But if you do that wee hashtag below your posts, I'm going to go in just randomly every so often and pick a winner, and we'll do this worldwide and send you a wee gift. So it'll be worthwhile doing, just randomly. I might not heart everybody, I might not comment, because there's already quite a lot of them, but just follow that hashtag and pop that in, and you never know, you might get a wee skinny yarn or something, or a wee treat somewhere along the line. So I do have, now you'll be very, very, very impressed and think somebody has possessed my body, because I have been, apart from socks that are in my handbag and you know, knit on while I'm waiting for the spuds to boil or something, I have, right, I'll show you the socks that I have for the spuds boiling. I need new handbag socks, obviously, now that I've finished those. These are the, I have hoe, these are the my kitchen socks. those are showing up. Oh, that's it. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Now I have had these, it's just one skein of yarn, obviously. I have had this in 2 different iterations and ripped it out. Just wasn't right. And I think the socks were, sometimes you get into your head, oh, it's too good for socks, but actually it's perfect for socks. And you know, nothing as nice as a hand knit pair of socks on your feet. And this yarn is, yes, from Lovebug Yarns. Now, she used to be in Scotland. It says hand dyed by Diana in Scotland. So I've had this quite a wee while. But I think she's originally from Portugal, I want to say. Don't quote me on that. And she's moved back home. So I think she is dyeing again. But maybe more difficult for us in the UK to get her yarn. And it's colour outside the lines, it's called. Definitely is colour outside the lines. It's all the colour. So I've that one done. And I'm well on with this one. So this will get put back. This will get put into my handbag, rotated around. Don't have anywhere to be, but you know, never know. Sometimes just waiting in the car for the kids. My son started Army Cadets last Tuesday night, and it's not too close to us, and I came home because my daughter was at home on her own, and it ended up being 40-mile round trip. So I said to my husband, I'm just going to stay and knit next. It was a bit nippy. It was a bit cold last Tuesday night, but I thought, right, socks will be attacked well, sitting in the car for 2.5 hours, to save petrol and time and stress and all the rest of it. And yeah, and this in a wee bag, showing you this before. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me, by I forget every time. Nikki Winterton. Sorry if you're watching. From the Sheep and Cheerful. I think, is it not the Sheepy podcast now? The Sheep and Cheerful podcast it was. And it's just got wee quotes he wrote about me in his book, Happy and Free. That's the way God made me and put a stamp of approval on me. Isn't that fantastic? I like these ears. What fine little toes, I take great delight. When God thinks about me, he smiles real big. There you go. That's my leaving thought today. Lovely wee bag that she sent me maybe even the year before last. So that's those things. And then that's the socks finished. My brain. I'll show you this. It's the only thing I have literally. You'll remember this from a previous podcast. This is the painting painting honeycomb shawl by Stephen West. I've knit this before. If you've watched last time, you know I was sort of just knitting on things I'd already knit before, just because they were easy to knit and mindful knits, and I've literally maybe done a couple of inches on this. Shouldn't really even show it because it's there's not much to show, but just wanted to show the lovely yarn. So I'll probably do this again once I finish the other one. And that is so the lovely rainbowy colour is Blue Fern Yarns, lovely Shannon, and the colourway is Spectrum. And the other one, the blue sort of denim-y one, that's Blue Fern Yarn too. Where's the other one? The depths of my project bags, you can't find anything. There we go. The blue is My Yarn Place and the colourway is Denim, funny enough. And I've had both of them in my stash for quite a while, but I think it's coming up beautifully. But I say, like, I think it was about there the last time I was used, so. But hopefully I'll just get on with it. Imagine I haven't been knitting on a shawl. Isn't that just like unheard of? And that's in a wee bag by Crafty Clegs, maybe a wee bit Christmassy, but I haven't changed my bags out, by Crafty Clegg, Jeanette from Crafty Clegs Creations, lovely linen bag. And then the one that I have actually been knitting the most on, totally monogamous, apart from my handbag socks, but is a bit big to take out and put in my handbag, is a sweater. I don't think I knit a sweater in the last part of the year, just because of everything that was going on with my tummy and as I pull this stupid thing down, and sizes and blah, 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 and brain space and all the rest of it. But I cast on a sweater and I've only been knitting on a monogamous knitter. I can't spell that word, but I can say it just. A monogamous knitter. Can you believe me? A monogamous knitter. And I have loved this. It is the Fall Frolic. Can you see the shine of that? I think you can. By Samantha Guerin. Now I've knit a previous sweater of hers and they're really enjoyable. You see this, it's a wee bit of colour work. Isn't it funny the things that you're able to concentrate on and then you can't concentrate on the likes of a Musselburgh hat. Now you can see there she has the colour work on the sleeves. I decided not to do that. Very bold, I know. And this is what I've done. So, let's see the back. So I have 2 sleeves, then 2, and as I say, she has colour work. Now it is a lovely variegated purple, but it's nearly showing up as a burgundy there. It's not, it's purple. Ooh. Anyway, it's beautiful. And I have 2 sleeves done. I generally try and do the sleeves first, then you're not winging the jumper around, and it's lovely because then your body's finished. And the sleeves were just round and round. There was no decreases till you got to nearly the cuff, lovely long cuff. And then this is the yoke. And I just love it. I love it. That too is my thing for thumbnail for yeah, it looked like I sucked a lemon. It is a wee bit of colour work and lovely texture, and then obviously it's a wee bit too cropped at the minute. I'd say there's a few more inches I need to do, but it's just round and round and round, and then a lovely ribbed hem. Now it's meant to be tubular cast on, tubular cast off, and nah, I just did it ordinary. I just cast off and on in rib. I just think it's alright. It doesn't have to sew in that end, but yeah, life was too short to do the tubular cast off and on just at this point. I have done it before, but just right now, I just think it's beautiful. That's probably given a better colour now. Now I kind of regret, I opened a full skein for this, and I kind of regret not just using like a 50 gram or a minis or something, but anyway, I'll show you the yarn I used. Turning over to the sides of it. Hit and miss. So I live about 8 miles from this mill, and it is blacker yarn. Oh, that's perfect. That is exactly the colour of it. And they had a 40% off sale last year, and I bought a sweater's quantity, maybe 2 sweaters quantity. I think it was around my birthday, and made the most of it. And it's beautiful yarn. That's worsted spun, made in the UK. Purple Granite it's called, and it's 4-ply, although it could be onto a sport because it's 350 meters, and it's 100% pure wool. Oh, and I had 5 skeins, and I think I'll just use 4. Even for my size, I'm doing a size 6, and even for my size, I think I'll only use 4. And then the contrasting colour, of course, won't be able to find today. Been well organised to put the label in the yarn cake. So I use these wee yarn cozies a lot from Amelia X Joy on Etsy, and this is there is a wee bit of purple in that, and it's Devonia 4-ply weight from John Arbon in the colourway Pebblebrook, Devonia 4-ply. So I have obviously like nearly a whole cake left of that, so that'll go into another project, no problem. It's just in my stash, and so I think it's going to be gorgeous. I love yoke, nice round yoke. We did short rows, and I think it's going to be just perfect. And hopefully that'll be finished this week even. We'll see what happens. And then, so, I mean, can you imagine monogamous knitting? Monogamous knitting. And that's in another, my favourite, So Yarnalicious, that's coming up yellow. It's mustard corduroy bag, and she's going to a yarn festival. Is it on Ravel? Oh, Esther, I'm sorry. Go and check out her Instagram. She's very prolific and posts all the time. And she's preparing some of these gorgeous corduroy bags for her update and to sell there in purples and red. Oh, just gorgeous, and highly recommend. There's pockets in it and everything. So I'm not sponsored or anything. I just really, really love her bags. If I put that down the floor, I don't need it again, do I? There we go. So that's my finished objects. Maybe this is just like an ordinary podcast. I don't know. Let me see what we've got. So the painting here. Right. Many of you will remember year before last, I did the Lucky Dip Cal that is run by lovely Kate from Hawthorne Cottage Crafts. Now, Kate didn't really podcast last year, but she's back now and she's doing it again. I think the first year it was 100 grams you had to at least use, but so I might be breaking the rules, but I think I did watch one of her podcasts. She said any amount's fine. And what you do is you pick 12 skeins, you know, those lovely skeins that you bought in a yarn show or you bought online and thought you couldn't resist, and then you're thinking, what am I going to do with this? And put them in a bag or wrap them up or whatever, and each month pick one out. And it's a wee surprise, and you can knit whatever you're going to knit with it. So obviously it's February, so I have already done January. I had to my shame, managed to find 12 50-gram. Now for years I have knit my socks with 50-gram skeins and a mini, but because of my new boots, I've been using 100-gram skeins because I needed the leg a bit longer. So I have a lovely friend who actually happens to be Hannah's sister, Cara. She is very, very, very knit-worthy and only a size 6, which is great. And I have decided this Lucky Dip Cal is the year of socks for her. I've already given her a couple of pairs that I knit over Christmas, and she doesn't mind wee shorties or socks with a shorter leg. And so these were January's. My stomach's rumbling. Hope you didn't hear that. And this is Back to Blighty. Again, in my stash for a long time. And the colourway is Albatross and 75-25. And obviously came with a wee mini too. And those will go to... She was in the house the other day and I forgot to give them to her. And then I thought, oh, well, sure, I'll just show them on the podcast then. That's just fine. So that's the January ones. And enjoyed knitting those, and they're so quick when they're only a size 6 and a shorty. And I've been keeping them all in my little sack from Jeanette of Crafty Clegg's Creations. Like, how gorgeous is that? Perfect for 50 grams and when you don't need a pattern. And so that's going to be used all year for those socks. And then I have my socks here. Sorry. in another bag that was given to me. I think this is a Rick Rack Room bag, but she's not making bags anymore, from my lovely friend Nikki. And this is my storage for my socks, and I'm not going to look, and I'm going to pick out, I'll pull them all apart probably. Oh, so this is February's, and it's from Woolly Goodness Yarns. That gorgeous. Oh, you'll love this one, Cara. Look at this. And it's Deluxe Merino Nylon 4-ply Blue Sky and Rainbow Sock Set. 85 merino, superwash merino, 15 nylon. So they are super duper soft. And I said this 100 times. Do not know what Woolly Goodness does, but that's the softest yarn and hard wearing yarn that I've ever used. And if I could just knit in this, it would be great. But so there you are, Cara. That's this month's socks, and they'll be done by, I'm sure, well, I suppose these will go to my handbag socks, maybe. We'll see. So that's for the Lucky Dip Cal, run by, and if you want to know anything more about that, go and watch Kate's podcast, the Hawthorne Cottage Crafts podcast. There's in my wee, wee bag. Right, let me see. This is just like a normal podcast. As I say, I have been watching loads of podcasts, and I just wanted to mention a few that I just really, really love, and they don't need mentions by me. They don't need, like, they're well-known podcasts, but if you haven't come across them, definitely go check them out. And this first one, I've got a bit of a girl crush. People say to me they'd love to come and knit with me. I would love to go and knit with this person. It's Sarah, and it's the Black Sheep Knitter, and she's only done a couple of podcasts. She's obviously a busy person, works, you know, has a life, and but just fantastic. Just love watching her. So if you haven't checked out the Black Sheep Knitter podcast, go and check that out. And lovely Sarah. And then unless you've been under a rock, you'll have come across the Albanach Knitter, who's Andrew, up in up and over in the Isle of Arran, just off the west coast of Scotland. I was just watching him. Well, if you want a Scottish accent, he's the one to listen to. And he was singing, he's a Baptist minister up in the Isle of Arran, but a prolific knitter too, and showing us all the sights of Arran. But yes, last night, just as I was getting ready for bed, I was listening to him singing Psalm 23, unaccompanied, as the old psalms would have been sung at that, you know, and would be the tradition. And just put the hairs in the back of my neck up. It was just, you could hear every word, you know, and it meant so much more when the music wasn't drowning it out. So that's the Albanach Knitter, and that's Andrew. And then the other girls I just love, and I love their patterns too. I have knit a lot of socks, but I always get them mixed up. Who's who? I think Rachel's the sock knitter, or sock patterns, and Joe's the other. I'm sorry if I've got you wrong. It's like they're twins. I'm not being funny. They're twins, and they are twin set and pearl. Sorry. You'll have seen me knitting lots of their socks. If you've never knit one of their patterns, go ahead and do it. You won't regret it. And they always have really good discounts and things. If you watch their podcast, they've got a running 20% off discount on their patterns. But they've just brought out the Morris shawl. It's named after their grandfather, and it's right up my street. Now, I did start that much of a cast on, but it was too much from, you know, it's not a complicated pattern, but it wasn't in the headspace. So that'll be, and also cast it on in dark yarn. That was really smart. So that'll be, you'll see that at some point, but I mean, if you're talking that much, so it's not. And then the last one that I was really, really enjoying, and it's new to me, maybe I've been under a rock, is Franny Do Makes. And she's in England. Again, if you want a regional accent, she's got a fantastic accent, and just dead down to earth, and just really, really easy to listen to and watch, and very talented. And so that's the Black Sheep Knitter, the Albanach Knitter, the Twin Set and Pearl, and Franny Do Makes. I mean, I've been watching all sorts, but those are the four I want to talk about today. And actually, if you're wanting to watch, I think probably only if you're in the UK. As I said at the start, I was a midwife for most of my career, and when I came home from Bangladesh, I got a job in Belfast, in the main Royal Maternity in Belfast, and mostly in delivery suite. And when I had the kids and stuff, that's where I was working. I worked night shifts, and there's a programme on Channel 4, you can get it on Catch Up or More 4, and it's called Belfast Midwives, and it's actually based in the hospital where I worked. I was there for about 8 or 9 years, and I don't remember it being quite as I remember it being a wee bit more stressful than some of the girls have made out. Most of them have qualified since before I left, or since I left. There's one sister, a ward sister, who was a student and just qualified whenever I was there, and it was so lovely to see her, and looking in the background to see who was there, and I knew all the rooms and I knew everything. So if you're into that sort of thing, if you do the one born every minute sort of thing, but this is very different. And yeah, check it out, Belfast Midwives, and you'll see where I used to work. I'm sure if anybody cares. Now, are you still knitting? Are you still with me? Everybody okay? Yeah. I haven't spoken to many people recently, so I've got a bit of verbal diarrhea. I missed my 2-year podiversary. It was last month. And for all just the amazing gifts, I wanted to do a wee giveaway. And so I have something here that I want to give away. Let me see. Of course, it's too far down and I can't reach it. Let's see. Oh, there's other things. Right. So I have here, everybody working their stash. All the podcasters are working their stash. I have an extensive stash, mostly because I bought a lot, but mostly because I haven't been knitting garments. So I have, like, once I knit a few cardigans or sweaters, it'll go down well. But because I haven't been knitting garments for months, it hasn't really reduced. One skein here, 2 skein there, 4 skeins that for shawls isn't reducing the stash much. So I am doing everything from stash as far as possible. I haven't bought anything this year so far. What month? 2 days. And tell a lie, I bought the Flower Power Fund. Excuse me. Yellow skein from, can't remember who it's from now. It hasn't come anyway. I do that every year for the knitting socks for Marie Curie. So that's become a tradition. And so I did that. I bought the 1 skein, and those will be knit up and sent back to Marie Curie for their Christmas sock quest. So this one was in my stash. I think I may have got it as payment for sample knitting, but it's from Fruitful Fusions. My teeth are Fruitful Fusions, and I don't think that's fluff. I think that's in it. Lovely yarn company that I've knit samples for, and this is just beautiful. It's called the Big Pond, and I think I initially got it because of the Cross the Pond shawl cal, but I thought it's so soft. I thought maybe those colours would suit most people. That's coming up more vibrant than it is. And it's 75% superwash, 25% nylon, 425 meters, and then a wee bag from the Little Grey Girl. It's a wee box bottom, zip top, just a grey lining. I thought those went well together, and I will send it worldwide. Just now that Royal Mail has sorted themselves out, we can send things again. Obviously, if it's overseas, it'll be the slowest, cheapest route. Might get it for Christmas. But just as a wee thank you, if there's a lot of comments, you never know them. I might snaffle another something up for you. But I just thought those were a nice wee treat, just to say thank you and to celebrate my podiversary, which is already gone. It's always lovely to receive a wee gifty, isn't it? So that's the plan. And I was thinking, what could you have to have a comment, or you have to have whatever, and I just thought, just comment whatever you want. just put a comment down below. Maybe tell me, are you organised? Are you not with your knitting? Do you like it all sorted out? Do you like plans? Does that help you? Does that work better mentally for you? Or are you just like, let's just look at what you've got, are you knitting from your stash? Are you fully enjoying going out and buying all the yarn? you know, anything at all. Tell me, have you ripped anything out recently, or are you enjoying knitting anything? Whatever you want, but just make sure you're subscribed and I can see you. And give me a wee thumbs up if you want to. I generally don't even mention those things, but that'll be yours if you, don't want to say win, if your name gets picked. It's nothing to do with me. And as I say, if there's a lot of comments, you never know, there might be a second prize. So that's just to acknowledge that. And then just everything's down. Didn't think this through. If you have watched before, I think you all watch and you know, and just write notes about everything. A wee while ago, I was sent a lovely candle. I love my candles. And I love, if I'm buying a candle, I don't like the musky ones so much, although my husband keeps buying me those. I love peppermint or fresh vanillas, all that sort of stuff. And this lady heard that this is what I like, and she asked me if she could send me a candle. It's like, this is a while ago, and I have burnt it and burnt it and burnt it and burnt it, and it never produced. And you know, you get these candles, like big name candles, and they smell lovely when you're smelling them, and then you light them and they smell of nothing. This is beautiful. I actually have just a little bit left, and it's down in the living room because I've actually been sitting knitting in my living room. That's shock horror since I've been at home. And I thought I'm going to treat myself for Christmas. My husband and I didn't do Christmas presents this year. Well, we didn't really do Christmas either because with everything that went on, we said we're going to do a redo in March, you know, whenever everything's calmed down a bit. And my poor son had his 13th birthday on the 18th of December, and that didn't really happen either. So it's just been a bit of a time. They have just been so patient. So if you see me eating a Christmas dinner in March, I'm not going to put the Christmas tree up, but you'll know what I'm doing. But anyway, tangent. I thought I'll order myself another one because it's honestly one of the nicest candles I've used, and it's love knitting. Well, of course, that's a bonus. That's straight in there. And it's handmade with love knitting. And it's from aurabeads.co.uk. A-U-R-A beads, all one word. And here, I'll show you it so I don't have to pause your screen. That's your show notes. Who says that? Cozy Up Sisters say that, doesn't it? There's your show notes. And it's infused with wild orange, peppermint, eucalyptus, and includes a carnelian crystal for positive focus, whatever, and energy while you're knitting. Well, I haven't got to the crystal yet. I don't need positive energy when I'm knitting. I really don't. She has loads more candles in the shop, but she sent me 2. Now, I ordered and paid for this one, and she gifted me that. Look, the size of it. Now, I want to say I'm going to put one of these in a giveaway, but I don't want to give it away. I'm not sure how I'd post it because it's glass. It's a glass jar. Is that a good enough excuse to keep them to myself? I'll give you yarn, but I don't want to give you... See, I'm not as nice a person as I make myself out to be. But love knitting. And it's aurabeads.co.uk. She had beautiful ones for Christmas, but I just love it. And it scents the whole room, but not in a overpowering way. So it is honestly, I'm not saying this because she gave me it. I mean, I bought the other one, but it's just gorgeous, and it's hand done and everything, obviously too. So that's a wee gifty that came in, and a wee gifty that I give myself. And I said, my husband and I didn't buy each other gifts this year. I said to him, maybe, you know, there's a lot going on, and, you know, money and everything, and maybe we shouldn't. And he agreed with me, and I was kind of like, no, you're not meant to agree with me. Let's buy gifts. But anyway, we didn't. And anyway, it turned out to be, you know, the kids opened their gifts at the end of my bed sort of thing. Yeah, so gosh, what a waffly ramble, huh? What a waffly ramble. Let's see if couldn't have forgotten anything. Oh, the only other thing is it's been fun that my daughter Eva came home one day there just after the Christmas term started and said, Mommy, my friend was crocheting on the bus, like she's 14. And they're into these pussy hats. You just knit. I should have brought one in. They're not, must be a 14-year-old thing. You crochet a triangle, sew it up, or do the top, and then the way it sits on you, it goes up with 2 pointy ears. And she's away with one this morning. Oh, she looks lovely. and oh, she's obsessed with them. So she's been going into all my scraps, all my bits and pieces. I don't generally knit with anything higher than an iron, but she obviously wanted chunky wool, and a lovely podcast, or a lovely viewer had given me, do you remember the big box of wool, and it had been sitting because I hadn't had the chance to do anything with it, and she's snaffled quite a bit of that, and she's knitting these hats for her friends, and they all seem to love them, or not knitting, crocheting these hats for friends. And she's come straight in from school and into the crochet, and I've had to say, go and do your homework, which isn't like her. She's very conscientious and dedicated to doing her schoolwork. So that's been lovely, having another crafter. She's very artistic. She draws from morning to night, but this has been something else. So every so often I hear this rustling, and she's going through and getting another ball out. So maybe, I don't know if she'll stick at it or not. It's 14, you know, but she's really enjoying it, and she started like a market bag sort of thing as well. So that was really nice, and thinking maybe, not that I crochet, but maybe rubbed off and she's just using YouTube tutorials and things, because I can do, as you know, one crochet stitch and I don't do it very well. So yeah, so there's another crafter in the house, and it's great. She's using all my scraps and all the wee bits of leftovers that sit around, and maybe I'll get a picture of her wearing her pussy hat. And if you put pussy hat into or cat hat into Ravelry, hats for cats come up. So I'm sorry if you're a cat mum or dad and you love your cat, but I think that's a step too far for me. We have a wee dog, and it's not getting anything knitted. It's too close to this, too short legs, too close to the ground. But yeah, so Eva's crocheting. We'll see. Hannah actually taught her the initial stitches way maybe before lockdown, and she didn't keep it up. But now, you know, it's like so many things, when in their own time they pick them up, don't they? So yeah, so maybe next time we'll show you a pussy hat. Oh dear me. So that's over an hour, and I have been waffling, but as I say, I just wanted to say hello. Just wanted to just touch base with you and catch up. I don't normally, as you know, my podcasts, I leave a wee sort of thought from God's word at the end, but I started to prepare something, and I thought, I'm just never going to podcast at this rate, so I don't have anything today, but regular programming, scheduling will return. I hope very soon, and we'll be back to all the cast-ons and lovely things. And yeah, I'm not buying. I just can't if you saw how much I've been given. I have, as I say, I haven't been knitting big quantities, so I have cones and all sorts left. So it'd be fun to see all the stuff coming out of my stash to do that. I've also put myself in a bit of a tiny pattern band. I think, is it Sable is the one for stash beyond life expectancy or whatever. That's not how you spell Sable. Well, I've got patterns as well. The patterns here, patterns up here, and I really need to work my way through it. And I will have there's a few things I will be putting on destash on Instagram, so keep your eye out. Just realised I just won't knit it, or it's not my colour anymore, or whatever. Nothing wrong with the yarn, just somebody else may as well enjoy it. Haven't got round to sorting out my shawls. They're all in a big bag, but it's not the weather to be taking pictures of shawls, but I will be destashing some of those at some point. Every time I walk past the bag I think, oh, I should really do that, and that money will obviously go to charity as well. Wouldn't come to me. And yeah, just getting back into normality. Do any of us know what that is anymore? And yeah, just lovely to be in touch again, and go now and get a cup of tea and a couple of painkillers. Hope you were able to knit for a wee while with me. I hope that you weren't bored and you didn't switch off immediately. And I hope I'll see you again soon. And again, I appreciate your support so much. I don't take any of it for granted, and I just felt the love so much. And just down in my wee place in Devon, and from all over the world, it's just been absolutely truly amazing. So until I see you again, keep on knitting, obviously, or crocheting, or whatever you're doing, and look after yourselves, and we'll see you soon. All right, God bless. Bye.